up, you can't ignore it. I'm transforming now these cars and planes, I'm always boarding. Just out touring down in Charlotte like I play for Hornets.
What's happening, sports fans? Ladies and gentlemen, how you doing? I am the host of TFG Sports Show. I am your host, Kendrick. How's everybody doing on this wonderful Sunday evening? It is July the 23rd, and we are getting started. I'm waiting on my guy, Michael Coleman. I'm waiting for him to come in. We're going to talk a little bit Dallas Cowboys training camp. And he just texted me. Hold on, guys. It's a segment. He said, he just texted me. I'm not seeing him. I'm not seeing you, brother. But we're gonna get this thing going. We're gonna get this thing going. So again, I hope everybody is having a great Sunday. Great Sunday. I know the weekend is about to end. And so I hope, all right, now, okay, got it. I'm seeing you now, Mike. I'm seeing you now. All right. Anyway, want to hope everybody's having a good Sunday. We're gonna jump right in this thing. I got my brother from another mother. He is in Oxnard, California. If you don't know this show, we're gonna be talking about the Dallas Cowboys, and we're gonna be talking Dallas Cowboys training camp. And without any further an introduction, my man, Michael E. Coleman. You didn't remember? You didn't think I remembered you?
No, I sure didn't, man.
I caught you off guard. How you doing, brother?
Man, literally just got here like 20 minutes ago, and things that were supposed to have happened didn't happen, but we got it figured out. But I'm good. I haven't been to sleep yet. Arthur hasn't been to sleep yet. Of course, Arthur's our photographer. But, I'm sitting by the pool. It's cool here in Oxnard, or I've actually Ventura, but Southern California, and I can't complain. So if I had anything that was bugging me, it's all flittered away, man, because the breeze is going on, and I got you, K-Hen, on the airwaves.
I appreciate it. You're looking smooth as a baby's bottom, as always. But let me say this to the people that's watching. Make sure you come in, like, comment, share this to your social media platforms. Mike is gonna give us his take on. He just told you. He just landed it. He just made it to Oxnard, California not too long ago. He just getting situated. So we're gonna chat a taste. Mike, just kind of tell me from the beginning your day to where you are now. Just kind of let us in.
I did my show last night and went out and had a little bit.
Okay. I know, I got you.
Something, that would equal to Gatorade during the daytime, and came home and started packing. And Arthur and me, we left about 3:30. 2:45. 2:45, and the plane was late.
Oh wow!
So we had a layover in Oakland, and then I think I waited longer in line for the rental car than I did in line to get processed through, because it was a long line, only one person working it. One person. You would think at a very popular and very busy airport like Burbank, and the rental car situation being what it is, like they got rental cars on their property, that they would find a way to get people through faster. But you know what you got to do? Just be patient. You can't be mad. That's just the way it is. So we got in and went to a fish spot. It's California. Their fish is fresh and all that. And I told Arthur, don't get no fried fish. You can get that anytime back at home. Be adventurous. So what do you get? Shrimp and fries.
That's all.
But what I had was a pretty good dish. I had the salmon bowl, which was pretty tasty. I think I've told you I'm trying to cut back on the red meat as much as I can. I probably have lost. I'm down to 213. So I've lost 15 pounds from 228 in the past month and a half. And when you see the results, 'cause I've been running every day at Bergfeld Park, running and walking. I haven't really been to the weight room, but I was wanting to try to be lean. So
Right.
That's what I'm trying to do, and we'll see what happens because I still like to eat.
Yeah.
I still like to eat. But I'm looking forward to this camp. There's some questions that need to be answered.
Okay.
I mean, Zach is one of them.
Okay.
One of the premier offensive linemen.
Let's go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, one of the premier offensive linemen. Yeah, one of the premier offensive linemen in the league, if not the best. He's a 6-time Pro Bowler. And when he's seeing that Quinn Williams and can't think of the other person's name play the same position, and he's like, "Listen, I want to get I want to get Pro Bowl money," and I know they want to re-energize that run game. But if you don't have Zach, you better have somebody that can come in and step in right away because I still think Tony Pollard's going to be vulnerable. So I think in the offensive scheme of things with the run game, there's a question mark.
What up, Charles?
You think so?
Go ahead. Yeah,
no, go ahead.
Yeah, what up, Charles? I'm just speaking to a couple of people that have jumped in. Charles agrees with you too, Mike. He's saying you need to pay that man. So Charles is watching. So yeah, I
thanks, Charles.
Yeah. Appreciate you popping in and joining us, brother. But go ahead, Mike.
Then you have another issue that needs to be settled. Who's your kicker?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I think they got 2 guys they're bringing in, and it's going to be a competition. And I just don't feel. I think the Cowboys can do well this year, but you got the Zach situation, you got the kicking situation, and you need both. Mm-hmm. I mean, any quarterback needs them, but especially the Cowboys, and that's going to probably overshadow whatever accomplishments. Who am I thinking of? Dak will have. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they won, but what if? Or they lost, but he didn't. And so it's going to be real interesting to see how they make up for that because if Zach does not come to camp, mm-hmm. Dak's going to rely and begin to trust somebody in that role that maybe haven't had as many reps as a 6-time Pro Bowler did.
Right.
I'm not really worried about the defense.
Right.
The defense has been coming to play the last few years. And then they got our homeboy. I think he's going to see some really good snaps because he can cover that, mm-hmm. of course, being DeMarvion Overshown from ARP, Texas, by way of University of Texas, Big 12 linebacker of the year. And because he played safety in high school and moved into linebacker, he's got a tweener body, Mm-hmm. And I think they're going to have get some big things from him. He's very smart. He knows how to play the game. And as I said, which I think is the most important, he can cover. And that's what the game is about today. Can you cover?
Yeah,
in this passing-oriented game. So, like I said, Zach, the Pollard being vulnerable, mm-hmm. the kicking game. I'm not worried about Dak. I mean, I wish he wouldn't have said what he's not going to do. Is throw 10 interceptions. Just keep that to yourself.
Yeah, he did say that. And Charles says Robbie Gould is a free agent kicker that's out there, proven kicker, perfect in the postseason. Then he also says Charles Moore actually is a 49ers fan like Arthur Claiborne, our guy, chief photographer. So he said the Cowboys still ain't ish. And I get it. He's a 49er fan. So, and again, Charles says, pay that man, Zach Martin. And Zach Martin, I'm sure he's going to get paid. This is one of those things where it happens. You don't really see it happen a lot with offensive linemen when they they may have a little tiff here and there, but they don't normally hold out like this. So I don't think that's going to be that big of a deal.
You're absolutely right. And, and the Cowboys, they don't begin practice until Wednesday. But they get in town Monday, tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And so, the questions are going to be there. Right. And of course, Tuesday, when Jerry has his State of the Union, as they like to call it, Cowboys address. And I'm wondering, I'm not going to ask it because I don't cover them on a daily basis. But somebody's going to try and make a name for themselves and ask about the comment he made about the Commanders. He made a comment about he can't wait to go there and do something. The Justice Clarence Thomas Super Bowl ring, and Jerry doesn't mind being in the line of fire. He welcomes it. So it will, and maybe I'll be the one to ask that question. But I don't know if it's been rehashed in the Dallas market. That's why I'm not sure it's going to be a topic of discussion. I'd rather just talk football.
Right.
And I get it, but sometimes in this sport, which is year round, there are other subject matters to be discussed.
And we're gonna talk about that too, Mike. We're gonna talk about that because we got around the NFL segment. So we're gonna talk about some other things. But let's get back with the Cowboys. I just want to kind of go over their last season.
Oh, hey, are you able to hear me pretty? There's a lot of traffic here. Yep. Okay. I just want to make sure.
I hear you perfect. You good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The Cowboys were 12-5 last season. Came, second in the NFC East. They were 14th in the league in passing yards per game. And they were 9th in the league with rushing yards with 135 yards per game. And they had a turnover ratio of +10, which they were second overall in the league. With Mike McCarthy now getting ready to be the play caller offensively, we know Kellen Moore is gone. We know Zeke Elliott is gone. What do you think this offense is going to look like?
Well, I would say more runs, but you can't really say that because McCarthy is a running coach kind of guy. The kid he had in Green Bay, Jones, out of El Paso. I mean, he came to. I remember he came to Dallas and ran up and down the field when McCarthy was still there. But here's what I think though. You got young Schottenheimer, Ryan now taking the role of the offensive coordinator. If there aren't immediate results that are flashy enough for Jerry, there's going to be a change in who's calling those plays. And I think that's going to be the first sign of disruption, maybe not distraction, but disruption. Because if Schottenheimer's getting the job done, you got Dan Quinn. He's been waiting around. He could have left a couple of times, but he stuck around. He got paid every time he stuck around. I think he's the guy that Mike needs to look over his shoulder about. I mean, there's no animosity between those two. It's just the nature of the business, nature of the game, And so I hope McCarthy pulls it off. So it's going to be interesting. I know that when Kellen Moore was calling the plays, there was no imagination. There was no taking advantage of what you got, And still, CeeDee Lamb has had a pretty good career up to this point. So let's see if McCarthy wants to really blow it up, and try to mix that run with the pass game. That's going to be a challenge for him, and we're going to see how that turns out.
Now let's stick on the offensive side of the ball. They had some additions, obviously in free agency. They signed Brandon Cooks from the Texans. They also signed running back Ronald Jones, who was with Tampa Bay. And they got an offensive lineman by the name of Chuma Udoga. I don't know much about him, but Brandon Cooks. He's definitely been a name that everybody's been high on, and since the OTAs and everything, everybody has just say this dude is the real deal. Mike, what you think Brandon Cooks is going to bring?
Well, wasn't he the one with his first? Because he joined them last year, right?
No.
Who caught that pass? It was his first pass that he caught.
That was T.Y. Hilton.
Oh, T.Y. Hilton. Okay, Hilton's still there, I think, right?
No, Hilton's gone.
I'll tell you what. I think Cooks. With the history he has, that's the operative word, has. I just think Michael Gallup, he's going to have to be the one. And I think he wants to be the one. I think he and CeeDee Lamb can do an Alvin Harper or Michael Irvin kind of situation, man.
Right.
But they got to be put in position to be successful. And again, it goes back to that run game. I mean, Pollard or whoever's going to run the ball, Jones, he ain't got to run the ball 25 times. That's not that kind of league anymore. But you want to keep the defenses honest. If you're showing a strong run game, that defense, the secondary, they're going to come up a little bit. Make sure you got somebody that can occupy and distract them from the run game and get behind the secondary. We haven't seen like a downtown ball in quite some time, man. And time is running out on Dak. He's not. This is what how old is he?
This will be his sixth season. Yeah,
sixth season.
This will be he going into his sixth season.
And now you can say he's seasoned. Pardon the somewhat pun. He's seasoned. He knows what he can do. He was hurt last year. I know but people ragging him about leading the league in interceptions and with the amount of games he didn't play. Okay, forget that.
Man, it's been many quarterbacks that led the league in interceptions.
Oh yeah, exactly.
And then if you go back and look at them, a couple of them probably you could say wasn't his fault. And you can say
No,
that about a lot of quarterbacks. And I'm not taking up for Dak either, but I'm just
I
saying
mean,
I think people
well,
put a lot of stock in interceptions, but
no,
sometimes those
and you're right,
interceptions
because
aren't their
it's kind
fault.
of like basketball. You put a lot of stock in rebounds. You had 24 rebounds and they had 17, but you
Right,
still lost,
right, right.
and tip balls. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, tip balls should be a
Mm-hmm.
whole different category,
Mm-hmm.
and I think one day it will be, the number, tip balls that turn to interceptions, which tells you it wasn't the quarterback's fault.
Yeah.
That's
Now
what it
that's
should.
right.
That's a stat.
Now
That's
let's
a stat they should add.
Yeah. Now let's talk about the losses the Cowboys lost in free agency. They didn't re-sign Ezekiel Elliott. They lost wide receiver Noah Brown. He signed with the Texans. Linebacker Luke Gifford didn't re-sign. Guard Connor McGovern, I believe, went to Buffalo, if I'm not mistaken. Tight end Dalton Schultz signed with the Texans, and defensive tackle Carlos Watkins, I can't remember where he signed. But Dalton Schultz, to me, is going to be a big loss for this Cowboys
Oh,
offense. What do you
well,
think?
when you were rattling the names off, Dalton Schultz is the biggest loss.
Mm-hmm.
Make no mistake about it. I mean, and I know the guy they have behind him, the guy that saw some time, and that's fine. But Dalton Schultz, he really wanted to be a Dallas Cowboys. I remember a year ago, they offered him whatever it was they offered him, but he was offended by that. And you know what? If these players are offended, good, because it's a business to them too,
Right.
and they learned that more than anything from the owners. It's a business. And so when you turn the tables on them, now when he goes to the Houston Texans for that 1 year, all he's trying to do is raise his stock, because he's got a big payday coming his way, and I'm not too sure he won't find it after this season with the Texans.
Right. So those are some of the big losses, and then let's talk about some of the draft picks. Obviously, in the first round back in late April, early May, they took defensive tackle Mazi Smith out of Michigan with their first round selection. Then they take tight end Luke Shoemaker out of Michigan in the second round. The third round, they took our guy from Arp, Texas, linebacker DeMarvion Overshawn out of Texas, and in the fourth round, they took edge rusher Viliami Fajuco out of San Jose State. Now, those four names sound like they're probably going to get some playing time early on. Mike, what do you think about those?
Well, here's where they're being smart. Here's where they're being smart. They're getting younger with quality players, and that's kind of how Kansas City does it. I mean, Kansas City, they don't ever lead the league in defense, but they have interchangeable parts. And you're going to need it. I know we're not talking Kansas City, but Chris Jones is sitting out. He's on the sidelines right now. And like someone said, Chris Jones to the Chiefs defense is like Tyreek Hill to the Chiefs offense, except you had other weapons that can pick up that slack. I'm not too sure you can do that with Chris Jones. So the same thing with the Cowboys being younger on defense. Get these guys seasoned. Micah Parsons, he's going to come. I would say he's coming to his own. He's already in his own.
Right.
And we've watched him grow, and he didn't really have any stunt in the growth. If you want to say what's his problem, I think the problem you could say is he wants to do it all. Okay, that's not a bad problem to have if you're a coach, because Micah Parsons is going to come to work every day with his lunch pail. And so I think that those young players are going to complement the likes of those linebackers. I love the secondary. I love the secondary, man. And I think they're going to do really, really well on some crucial games.
Right. I agree.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah.
Speaking of the defense, obviously Michael Parsons is the heart and soul of that defense. I know people probably still think it's DeMarcus Lawrence, but I think it's Michael Parsons. And I was reading that he's going to be playing a little bit more down. He's not going to play a lot. He's bulked up with what I read. He's going to be a little bit more playing at that edge rusher. Do you think that's a good idea?
Yeah, I do. I do. Because he's got a motor that stays running, and he's going to be frothing at the mouth coming off that edge, Right. And I think I'm going to tell you what, the Jones kid with the Giants are going to find out when they open up against one another. We're going to see some things that we're going to like, okay, take note of. This is what they're capable of doing. Because you're paying Jones all this kind of money, you're saying he's one of the baddest quarterbacks in the league. He's not, but you're saying he is. Right. And if Saquon don't show up, I think Mike is going to have a field day. because that's just one less weapon he has to worry about.
Yeah, so I had put their schedule up, Mike, but we're going to talk more about their schedule before we get out the show. We're going to go around the NFL. So that's the Cowboys again. This is my guy, Michael Coleman, sports director at KLTV in Tyler, Texas. He is live in Oxnard, California for Dallas Cowboys training camp. But we're going to talk about around the NFL right now. And one of the big stories that came out, the Washington Commanders is officially, the Daniel Snyder era is officially over. Josh Harris Group has taken over. It has been approved with Magic Johnson being one of the co-owners. Mike, what do you think about this finally, the Washington Commanders finally getting to, I guess, start over in when you think about it?
Well, yeah, and I'm thinking and I'm hoping maybe it gives Bieniemy a fresh start. I mean, maybe that's why it's a good thing he's not the head coach. He doesn't have to go in with that pressure of being the head coach to impress the new owners. Just go in and do what you're supposed to do. And let Ron Rivera deal with all that other stuff. I like what Josh Harris said earlier this week when he said culture comes first, and he knows he has some undoing in that respect. I mean, Daniel Snyder, the guy, sexual harassment on his way out the door, a $60 million fine. That's a fun guy to be around,
Right.
This dude here is just, he was messy. He was messy, and he didn't give a damn, and it showed. Now, I won't say it showed in the product because Rivera, he had those guys ready to play. They did their best. So I think with the influence of Bieniemy and what he can bring to that offense, and no, he doesn't have a Patrick Mahomes. But like I say, if you a coach, you don't care who you have, you just coach, okay? Right. And that's the situation he's in right now, and I think he embraces it. I've heard a lot of good things from the players, the younger players and the veterans. On he don't mess around. He expects you to come to work and be ready. And they kind of talk like that wasn't there in the past, Mm-hmm. And so he gets to lay claim on laying down the foundation under the new ownership. And you can't go wrong with Magic Johnson because he's going to be the face on the administrative side. That's Magic Johnson, And so I think to a degree, some of these guys, I don't want to let Magic down. I don't know who the Josh guy is, although he owns a hockey team and an NBA franchise. But this is a clean slate, man. This is a breath of fresh air. This is an exhale moment for the Commanders. I think they can probably win 7 games.
Okay.
They could be Detroit 2 years ago.
Okay.
And build off of that.
Yeah, that's true. So again, the Daniel Snyder era is over. I think he ended up selling that thing for $6.1 billion.
Yeah, how about that?
The most ever of any North American franchise.
And that's the way it always goes. The guys who are the worst are the guys that get the best.
Yeah, and I think he only paid originally in '99. I think he only paid like $400 million. I'm just saying, yeah. I'm seeing only 400. That's still a whole lot of money, but yeah. So he walks out of that thing, a rich man, and will never ever have to work again. So and let's stay in the NFC East. Let's talk about the Giants. Cole Beasley just signed with them a couple of days ago.
Saw that.
Daniel Jones. You spoke of Daniel Jones just a minute ago about his new deal. But let's talk about the bigger story, Mike, the NFL running back market. The lack of respect for running backs. Is that position devalued? The reason why we're talking about this is Saquon Barkley basically is saying that he's prepared to sit out. He said it, the hell with it. And I definitely want to get your take on this whole running back market, whole running back position is devalued because you played running back. You were a college running back. You played in high school. You know about the position. What's your take on? And let's be honest, the NFL has kind of put a devalue on that position.
Oh,
what is your whole take on?
You know what they probably play the long snapper more than the running back. Yeah. I'm not going to be surprised. And I think for those of us who've lived a certain amount of years on God's green earth, and we saw the running game for what it was, it's kind of a shock to our NFL senses here. Mm-hmm. Josh Jacobs leads the league in rushing, but he ain't getting paid. I I think the last of the big contracts are over with. I mean, I think Zeke is probably, or maybe McCaffrey, are the last two running backs that got paid.
Well, Nick Chubb. Actually, it's Nick Chubb, Mike.
Nick Chubb. Okay.
Nick Chubb was the last one to really get paid.
Okay.
Which was 2019, I believe.
Now, and he's still doing his game. Now he's got Deshaun Watson, which I think is a plus for him.
Right.
But I know Saquon Barkley, that was an on and off, he's going to sign, not going to sign situation. And now it's like, I haven't heard definitively he's not coming to camp. I know he hasn't signed.
Right. He didn't sign that the franchise.
He didn't sign. See, that's his thing. That's the thing. You and I both remember during the Buffalo Bills heydays and the Jimmy Johnson days with the Cowboys, they're just knocking people down when they went 0-2 without Emmitt Smith.
Mm-hmm.
And Jimmy Johnson said, pay him.
Yeah.
And they became the first team to go 0-2 to go on to win a Super Bowl.
Right.
That doesn't happen anymore today. And it doesn't help that the Chiefs will start a 7th round draft pick, Isaiah Pacheco at running back, and win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, those are things. I mean, I'm not blaming him, of course, but I'm just saying there are optics, and we have owners or GMs going, you know what? You see what KC did? Well, you ain't KC. You know, every situation is different from the other. There are no two situations alike. And Josh Jacobs just happened to be in a bad situation. You know, he's just bad management, bad coaching, yet he was still focused enough to get 1,500 yards, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
And so where's he go? You don't want to quit. But also, Kendrick, I got to tell you, with any of these guys, I think I'm not walking away from 10 point whatever.
Yeah, the franchise tag for running back.
I can't walk away from that. Yeah, you got to bet on yourself, man. You got to do that one thing, and then you know. But by the same token, it's not going to increase the play or increase the value of the running back. And I think earlier years, I think the Cowboys is ironic. Remember DeMarco Murray? Who played running back?
I read an article. They talked about him.
Okay. I mean, now he's a running back coach at OU, by the way. And when they let him go, I'm like, wow, how you let DeMarco Murray go? To me, that was the first sign.
I believe he led the league in rushing, if I'm not
mistaken. He led the league in rushing. Now, how many years after did they bring Zeke on? It might have been 2 or 3 years. I mean, not the following year.
It wasn't the following year. It may have been like 3 years later when they drafted Zeke.
But I guess my point is, they came to their senses. So okay, you know what? We tried this no running back value thing. Let's get back into it. And Zeke did what he did. But I'm gonna be honest with you, Zeke was not the Zeke of old when I moved back to Texas. When he got that big deal, when he got that big deal, his game went south like the other running back. I don't know if it was you and I were talking or somebody else. We couldn't remember who the other running back was.
When they got the big money,
who was signed before Zeke was. I don't know if he's a Falcon or a Ram or used to be one and joined the other.
It was Todd Gurley. The Rams.
Todd Gurley, the Georgia kid. Yes. Yeah. And we haven't heard much from Todd since that contract.
He's been out the league for years.
And I think that's what we've seen with Zeke. I mean, I still think Zeke's got something in him, but he's got short yardage and being an offensive guard in the backfield left to him. Blocking. He's a hell of a blocker. You know?
Right.
And so I'm real saddened at how the running back position has become a postscript. P.S. We're going to run for 800 yards with a running back. And I just witnessed a kid who verbally committed to Oklahoma.
Right.
The kid at Longview.
Yeah.
Taylor Tatum. Really good athlete. And my thing is this. He's also going to play baseball. If the running back game continues to be devalued, he's going to have an option, hopefully, possibly, of playing baseball. That's what he wants to do. When I talked, I said, well, Kyler Murray did the same thing that you're about to. Say, yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to be able to play both sports or get drafted in both sports and have an option. That's how these young guys have to think now. That way it won't be a shock to their system when they're a rookie and they're drafted number 15 overall. It's like, well, we don't really run the ball a lot. You're like, wait a minute, what do you mean you don't run the ball a lot? Because trust me, if Kyler Murray played any other position other than quarterback, he'd be in the pros playing baseball, I think.
Yeah, and I think you're gonna see a lot of kids not wanting to play the running back position. And speaking of that, Austin, what's his name with the Chargers? Eckler. He had a Zoom meeting last night with the running back, with a lot of running back players, with Nick Chubb, Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey, Josh Jacobs. They all took part in the Zoom meeting because they want to Zoom. They're trying to, take back their position, so to speak, and feel like they've been left out when it comes to getting the long-term money. I don't know what will come of this. I don't know what they will happen, but it's good to see that they standing solid together.
No, it is. It is good. Heck, start a running back union. What the heck? I don't know.
Right.
But that would never fly. But I guess the best test is going to be in the playoffs in those winter cities, and you fall just short because your QB can't get the ball to the receiver in many cases, not all. But for those teams, and that's another thing, these teams who aren't valuing the running back, they need a running back. Saquon Barkley is the best player on that team.
Right.
He's not the highest paid, but he's the best player on that team.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Jacobs, the best player on that team. So there are different circumstances. And you got Garoppolo. I don't know what he's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
What's Garoppolo? He might be hurt next Thursday.
Well, it's funny you mentioned him. He actually passed his physical today. His foot is healed, so he will be in training camp.
And see how that's news.
Yeah. So it's funny that you mentioned him. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, see, and so these teams that have these prime time running backs disgruntled, these guys need running backs.
Mm-hmm.
They need a running back.
Right.
And I like the pickup that the Ravens did with Melvin Gordon.
Yeah.
He got a 1-year deal because he spent this year on the Chiefs practice squad,
right?
Which is still a mind blower considering what kind of game he's got. But he couldn't even break that. But he'll play. He'll play in Baltimore.
It's still, again, like you said, Zeke is still out there. Kareem Hunt and Dalvin Cook are still out there unsigned running backs. So we'll see what happens.
I heard a stat that when Cook is not playing because he was injured, Kirk Cousins has a better game. Now, if you have stats like that, I can understand why you'd go that way. I can understand, but like I said, each team has a different set of circumstances. That's not going to be the case with everybody else, And so, Dalvin Cook, he's out there on the market.
Right.
And he should go to Buffalo. Buffalo.
We're gonna see, and we're gonna swing back around to the Cowboys. We're gonna wrap this up, Mike. But just to give you an idea of the running back position, the rookie running back out of Texas, Bijan Robinson, he's gonna make the most money this season among running backs this season because he's gonna make $13.72 million this season for the Falcons. McCaffrey will be second at $12 million, which actually McCaffrey makes the most out of all the running backs in the league for an average annual salary.
Well, remember Sam Bradford?
Yes.
Okay.
He changed the market.
Yeah, he came out and made all the money over the Brady's and everybody else that was of stature, and I think they're gonna get their money's worth with Bijan. I really do.
Yeah.
But he's another example. But he was taken number 7 overall, I believe, in the draft.
Yeah, I believe. Right,
7 or 8.
Just say he was somewhere around there. He was in top 10.
Yeah. So I think he's worth it. But he too is about to find out how much of a business it is. Some folks have even suggested give running backs when they come out of college 2-year deals.
Wow.
And not the 4 years if they're in the first round. Just give them all 2 years. If you're going to treat them all this way, give them all 2-year deals and give them a chance to latch onto somebody else to make money and let somebody else not take advantage of those backs. So you're valuable to us as a team.
Right. If I had a son, I'll be honest with you. If I had a son that was playing football, I would steer him away from the running back position. Period. I would
Nah, I
tell his
mean,
son.
you know what it
I
is?
hate to say that, but I would tell him, nah, son, you probably
I
don't want
say
to play
play
running
wide
back.
receiver. You don't get hit as much.
Right.
And if you're a third stringer, you're going to make more than a running back.
Oh, you're right. Right. Exactly. All right, Mike. So we're going to wrap this thing up. I just want to get – okay. So
well, thanks, man.
I just real quick before I let you out of here, I already I got the Cowboys schedule up, but I just want to know what your schedule will be starting on tomorrow as far as your coverage.
I'll be sending stuff back at 6. The Cowboys don't get here until 3:30 local. That's 5:30 back at home. And you know how it is. They arrive and they get to talk and all that kind of stuff. And we'll try to squeeze some sound and put something together there. You know, there's only so many ways you can say the Cowboys arrived. Right. So we'll talk to them. I'm definitely gonna look for our guy DeMarvion.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when they're the most congenial. The guys are, because they're glad to see people be here for them, and they know what it's about. And especially if you're a rookie, your eyes are wide open. So also this is what it's about. And a lot of these guys come from big time programs too. Like DeMarvion did. So we'll talk, get some sound from these guys. Jerry, like I said, has his presser on Tuesday, so we'll be in position, as you know, with whatever the guys are saying, we can put those to questions to Jerry and his staff on Tuesday. So, like, hey, Dak says he's in the best shape of his life. He's been looking good in OTAs, and we're looking for that health during the regular season. Because you can have all kinds of story ideas, but I'd say 40% of the time you come up with a whole different scenario than what you would put on paper or put in your mind in terms of what you wanted to get. And I know it won't be any different this week.
Now, how long are you guys going to be out there, Mike?
We go back August 2nd, which is a week from Wednesday.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
So we'll be out here for a while, but I continue our coverage back at home until the 11th. We'll bring some stuff back, and we'll get stuff from other resources, that we do with the KDFW, that kind of stuff. So yeah.
Okay. So where can they find? Where can people watch your reports?
You know what? I decided to freshen up, and we talked a little bit. I freshened up my YouTube.
Okay.
You'll see some of Coleman's greatest hits. Just go to Michael Coleman YouTube. You'll see some stuff on there. And Twitter at MColeman4, and Instagram MColeman at 43908, something like that. Try to be as active as you are on the social media, man.
I know, man.
You my role model.
I see you. You my role model. So, but they can watch your reports on KLTV.com as well.
Yeah, go to KLTV.com and just go to. You see those lines with a menu. It says "Watch Live," and you can see it live, or they'll turn it back around on the web that you can look at another time. But it's always best to see it live.
That's right. But Mike, man, I always, brother, I appreciate you, man. As always, man, you my brother. I appreciate you. You guys have a good time. I know you're gonna be working hard. This ain't fun. I be telling people like, oh, they gonna have fun. No, they
don't know, man.
They don't even know. But you guys be safe. Tell my guy, the chief photographers, Arthur Coleman, y'all be safe out there. And I'll be looking for your reports, man. And we'll holler at you when you get back.
Okay, buddy. Stay safe.
All right, you too, brother. All right, man. That was KLTV Sports Director Michael Coleman, live out at Oxnard, California, the Dallas Cowboys training camp. Just wanted to give you guys a taste of what's you can look forward to. This is Cowboy country. If you don't know, I'm in Tyler, Texas is where I am located. So this is definitely the Cowboys country, even though I am a Packer fan. So we're going to keep it locked here to TFG Sports Media for all your sports updates, breaking news, whatever's going down. Again, I want to thank Michael Coleman, Sports Director of KLTV, the ABC affiliate in Tyler, Texas, for joining me with him getting into Oxnard, California today. Again, Cowboys training camp actually doesn't start until, I believe, the players get there tomorrow, like Michael says. Tuesday, Jerry Jones will have his State of the Cowboy address, and then I believe they will start their workout, their practices, I believe, on Wednesday. So, again, I hope everybody enjoyed the show. Hope you have a great start to your week. Again, I'm Kendrick. Make sure you like, to follow, subscribe to TFG Sports Media on YouTube, on Facebook. Also, Kendrick Sports Hustle on YouTube. like and follow me there. And you can follow me on my personal Facebook. That's Kendrick Roline Henderson. You can follow me on TikTok, Kendrick Henderson 51, and on Instagram at KDrick1969. So you can follow me in all those different places. So again, I want to thank you guys for joining me. You watch this later. Make sure you leave a comment, like, and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you on the other side and on the next report. I holla. Peace.
That money clip us now, the new now looks like. Whoa, upgrade her diamonds, now her girlfriends are like. Whoa, 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 whoa. I hit recorded, drop, you can't ignore it. I'm transforming now these cars and planes, I'm always boarding. Just out touring down in Charlotte like I play for Hornets. When I'm performing, never boring.